Chapter 1 Time Travel. A gust of cool wind swept over her, raising goosebumps and causing a sharp pain in the back of her head. She felt someone was tearing off her clothes, and a strange sense of crisis arose within her. She opened her eyes, and above her was a man with fair and delicate features. However, coupled with his lewd smile and the hurried movements of his hands, he exuded a sleazy aura. Wasn't she hit by a car? Where is this? However, the current situation did not allow her to think too much about it. She kicked the man in the stomach, and caught off guard he fell to the ground. The man muttered something under his breath, concealed his displeasure, and coaxed her. "Qian, there's no one here, just come once, just once." Qian felt a chill run down her spine. She had encountered a rapist. Terrified, she backed away and turned to run. The man grabbed her arm and pulled her back. You let go of me." She tried to shake off his hand, but his grip was too strong. "If you don't let go, I'll call for help." "Help, help," Qian had just shouted when a slap came flying at her. Smack. Qian was slapped to the ground, her ears ringing and her face burning with pain. The man stepped forward and grabbed her hair, causing a tearing pain in her scalp. Instinctively, she stretched her neck out in response to the force. "Don't make a sound. If you call for help and someone sees you, it won't do you any good," the man threatened in a vicious whisper close to her ear. "What era are we living in? Why are you afraid of being seen? Besides, she's not the one at fault." However, that slap just now made her clearly realize the difference in strength between men and women. A direct confrontation was not to her advantage. She had to outsmart him. She looked terrified and nodded fearfully, but in reality, she was looking to escape. Seeing that she had given in, the man released her hair and coaxed her again. "Be a good girl, and I'll take you away afterwards." Is this guy crazy? He hits you and then gives you a treat. And who wants to follow him and get beaten up? Qian held her breath and secretly groped under her body. Suddenly, she touched something hard and was overjoyed. Just as the man was about to touch her clothes again, she grabbed a handful of dirt with her left hand and threw it into the man's eyes. "Ah," the man covered his eyes with one hand and grabbed her with the other. "You bitch, I'll kill you." Qian didn't expect him to react so quickly, and immediately swung a rock at his head. "Ah, you dare hit me, I'll..." Before he could finish speaking, Qian slammed the object against his head again. The man had no choice but to let go of her and protect his head. Qian didn't dare to stop, afraid that he would react and retaliate. She kept hitting his back and hands with stones. Seeing that he was powerless to fight back, she kicked him between the legs, and he finally fell down, his body bent over. If Qian was initially only afraid of fighting back, then what followed was a one-sided beating to vent her anger. "Madam, I was wrong, I was wrong." The man tried to protect his head and his genitals, but in the end, he couldn't protect either. Qian ignored his pleas for mercy and hit him harder and harder, straddling his back, one foot against the back of his head, and pulling his hair with both hands. "You pulled my hair. I already have thin hair, so you might as well go bald too." As Qian continued to pull, she suddenly realized that the person beneath her was no longer moving, and then she noticed a pool of blood under his head. Dead, she killed someone. This realization terrified her so much that she rolled off him, too afraid to check his breathing, and fled in a panic. As she ran, a route appeared in my mind, leading to the village, followed by a flood of other unfamiliar memories. She finally reached the village, and the barking of dogs coming from there made her feel a little more at ease. She stopped, propped herself up on her legs, and gasped for breath, sorting through the memories in her mind. The sky has fallen. She had actually time-traveled into the body of an ancient person with the same name as her. The man she just hit was a traveling peddler who also happened to be her lover. They had agreed to meet in the woods at midnight tonight so that the peddler could take her away from here. What is all this? The village dogs were still barking. Suddenly, she realized that if someone found her outside in the middle of the night and then saw the peddler's corpse, they would definitely know that she was the one who killed him. If the matter is reported to the authorities, wouldn't she go to jail? The sense of relief brought on by the dog's barking vanished quickly, and Gu Qian's face turned deathly pale. She couldn't be discovered. Gu Qian stood up, her heart pounding. She tried to hide in the shade of trees or other dark places. Although she was a little tired, she didn't dare to stop running for a moment, like a mouse in the dark. The barking of the dogs in the village did not attract any attention. Recently, things had been unsettled in the county town, and the countryside was also occasionally targeted by thieves. Everyone was only concerned with their own movements, and if they did not hear any unusual noises, they went back to sleep. Following the route in her memory, Gu Qian finally found her way to her home. The house was made of stone and was more impressive than the mud houses and thatched huts she had seen along the way. It also looked more prosperous than other people's houses. But that's just what it seems. Gu Qian learned from the original owner's memories that the family didn't have much money left. It all started with the death of the original owner's husband. The streams in the village have long since dried up, but crops can't grow without water. Last autumn's harvest was already halved, and if they don't grow by spring, then there will be no food for the next 6 months. There was a larger stream with water in the neighboring Lygia village, and the people in the original village wanted to divert water from that stream to irrigate their farmland. At first, the people of Lygia village didn't say anything, but as the water in the stream dwindled, they simply cut off the entire stream, forbidding the people of Jayashi village from diverting water from it. Even when the village head intervened and offered a pig as compensation, the people of Lygia village refused to budge. Without water in the fields, crops cannot sprout. What's the difference between that and starving people? Then they had no choice but to fight it out. The young people from both villages rallied together and fought fiercely over the water source, resulting in heavy casualties. The original owner's husband, Liu Yiheng, died during this battle when his femoral artery was severed by a sickle, causing him to bleed to death. Liu Yiheng was sent to school by his family, and he passed the imperial examination at the age of 20, so there is still a possibility that he will go further in the future. Overwhelmed with grief, Liu Hanping, the father-in-law, became delirious and had his leg broken by a wild boar while hunting. They spent all their money trying to cure his leg, but he still became a cripple. His leg would hurt if he walked even a little bit, and he could no longer go hunting in the mountains. In just 1 month, a family lost 2 pillars of support, leaving only a 16-year-old brother-in-law to hold the family together. Sister-in-law. A voice gritting its teeth came from the corner of the courtyard wall, breaking the silence of the night. Gu Qian was startled by the sudden sound, and then realized that there was a person standing at the base of the courtyard wall. Liu Yichuan was dressed in coarse cloth, his fists clenched tightly, as if he was trying hard to suppress his anger. The young man had a cold expression and was staring at her intently. Gu Qian searched her mind for a moment, then hesitated before speaking. "Zhao Chuan, what are you doing here?